a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there?
For more than half a century, the Apollo 11 mission has remained one of the most talked about events in human history. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first men to set foot on the moon. It was a moment that defined an era, a triumph of human ingenuity, and a symbol of American achievement in the space race against the Soviet Union. But ever since that historic day, mystery has surrounded the moon landing. Countless theories, speculations, and questions have been raised, many of them dismissed as conspiracy theories, but some lingering without answers. Now, more than 5 decades later, Buzz Aldrin himself has spoken out. And what he has finally admitted confirms what many have long suspected. What really happened during Apollo 11? What did they find on the moon that NASA never wanted us to know? And why has Buzz Aldrin remained silent for so long? Let's dive into the shocking revelations that could change everything we thought we knew about space exploration. The moon landing was more than just a scientific mission. Officially, the Apollo 11 mission was about proving that the United States could land humans on the moon and return them safely to Earth. It was a demonstration of technological superiority and a landmark event in human history. But behind the scenes, there were rumors that the true purpose of the Apollo missions was much more than just planting a flag and collecting lunar rocks. Several astronauts, including Buzz Aldrin himself, have hinted over the years that NASA had a classified agenda. Some believe that the US government was aware of strange anomalies on the moon long before Apollo 11 ever landed. Could it be that Apollo 11's real mission wasn't just exploration, but investigation? And if so, what did Aldrin and Armstrong really encounter on the lunar surface? Buzz Aldrin's cryptic statements over the years. Buzz Aldrin has always been a straight-talking, no-nonsense kind of person. But over the years, he has made several cryptic comments that have fueled speculation. One of the most controversial statements came during an interview where he appeared to confirm that something strange was seen on the way to the moon. During the Apollo 11 mission, Aldrin and his crew reportedly saw an unidentified object following their spacecraft. At first, they assumed it was part of their rocket booster. But after contacting NASA, they were told that the booster was over 6,000 miles away. So what was it? NASA has always downplayed the incident, but Aldrin later admitted that they saw something that couldn't be explained. In another interview, Aldrin shocked the world when he suggested that there are structures on Mars's moon, Phobos, saying, "There's a monolith on Phobos." When people find out about that, they'll ask, who put that there? Was he subtly hinting that there are artificial structures elsewhere in the solar system? And if there are, could similar structures exist on our own moon? The mysterious radio blackout. Perhaps the most suspicious aspect of the Apollo 11 mission was the radio blackout that occurred while Aldrin and Armstrong were on the moon. For 2 minutes, all communications between NASA Mission Control and the astronauts were completely cut off. NASA claims this was due to a simple signal interference, but some believe that Armstrong and Aldrin were communicating with NASA on a private channel, reporting something so shocking that it had to be kept secret. According to leaked sources, Armstrong supposedly said, "These babies are huge, sir. Enormous. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out here, lined up on the far side of the crater, watching us." Could this be true? Did the Apollo 11 crew encounter something on the moon that they weren't allowed to disclose? The structures on the moon. In the years following the Apollo missions, strange images from the moon began to surface. Some NASA photographs appeared to show unnatural formations, towers, domes, and even what looked like massive structures hidden in craters. Buzz Aldrin himself has been asked multiple times about these anomalies, and while he never explicitly confirmed their existence, he has never denied them either. Could it be that Apollo 11 was not the first to land on the moon? Or even more shocking, could it be that something else was already there? The sudden end of the Apollo program. After the success of Apollo 11, NASA continued with 6 more moon landings between 1969 and 1972. But then, in a sudden and unexpected move, NASA canceled the remaining Apollo missions, even though the technology was ready and the funding was in place. Why? The official explanation was budget cuts and a shift in priorities. But insiders suggest there was another reason. What if the US government discovered something so unsettling on the moon that they decided it was too dangerous to continue exploration? Some believe the Apollo astronauts were given a warning that they were not welcome on the moon. And that's why, despite having the capability to return, humans have never gone back. Buzz Aldrin's final admission. For years, Buzz Aldrin has remained cryptic about what really happened during Apollo 11. But now, at the age of 94, he has finally broken his silence. During a recent interview, Aldrin was asked directly, "Did you see anything on the moon that was unexpected?" His response, "Let's just say, there are things out there, things that NASA doesn't talk about." While he didn't go into further detail, his words confirmed what many have suspected for decades. There is more to the moon than what we have been told. Something NASA has chosen to keep hidden. And the fact that Buzz Aldrin himself is now acknowledging this raises an even bigger question. What are they hiding? The future of lunar exploration. In recent years, NASA has announced its plans to return to the moon with the Artemis program, aiming to establish a permanent human presence. China, Russia, and private companies like SpaceX also have their eyes on the lunar surface. But will these new missions finally uncover the truth about what Apollo 11 found? Or will the secrecy continue? Buzz Aldrin's revelations are just the beginning. And as we prepare to set foot on the moon once again, we must ask ourselves, are we truly alone in the universe? Or have we been watched this entire time? The truth may be closer than we think, and soon we may finally have the answers. Buzz Aldrin opened the door, but he wasn't the only one. Buzz Aldrin's cryptic admissions about the Apollo 11 mission have sparked intense debate, but he wasn't the only astronaut to hint at something NASA never revealed. Astronaut Gordon Cooper, a veteran of Project Mercury, publicly stated that NASA and the US government have long been aware of extraterrestrial activity. According to Cooper, during his Air Force days, he witnessed an unidentified craft land at a military base, only to have it quickly confiscated by authorities. Another Apollo astronaut, Edgar Mitchell, who walked on the moon during Apollo 14, was even more direct. He claimed, "There have been crashes, there has been contact, and there has been a cover-up." If Apollo astronauts and high-ranking officials have been making statements like this for decades, why haven't their claims been taken seriously? And most importantly, what is NASA hiding? The strange case of the Apollo 17 mission. Apollo 17, the last official moon mission in 1972, was unlike any other. First, it was commanded by Eugene Cernan, the last human to walk on the lunar surface. But what many people don't know is that Apollo 17 contained classified elements. Leaked transcripts suggest that Cernan and fellow astronaut Harrison Schmitt encountered something unusual. A portion of their private communications was mysteriously redacted. And there's more. During Apollo 17, NASA abruptly cut the live feed for several minutes, citing a technical issue. When the video returned, something was off. The astronauts seemed noticeably shaken. One question has remained unanswered. Why was Apollo 17 the last mission? NASA had the technology, the funding, and the motivation to continue sending humans to the moon. Yet suddenly, after Apollo 17, the program was canceled. Did they discover something they weren't supposed to? NASA's secret moon files. The photos they don't want you to see. Over the years, NASA has released thousands of photos from the Apollo missions, but a small number of images have been classified or mysteriously altered. Some of the most puzzling images include strange artificial-looking structures on the moon's surface, unusual tracks and formations that resemble roads or pathways, glowing orbs and unidentified flying objects in the background of Apollo photos. One infamous case involved Ken Johnston, a former NASA employee responsible for handling moon mission images. Johnston claims that he was ordered to destroy certain Apollo photos that allegedly contained evidence of artificial structures on the moon. But why would NASA suppress such information? Some believe NASA has been aware of an ancient presence on the moon for decades, and if that's the case, it would explain why we've never returned. What SpaceX and China may uncover. For the first time in history, NASA is no longer the only player in moon exploration. Elon Musk's SpaceX and China's lunar missions could change everything. Musk has made it clear that SpaceX's ultimate goal is to establish a permanent human presence on the moon and Mars. This means no government control over what is discovered. Meanwhile, China's space agency has already landed rovers on the far side of the moon, an area NASA never explored. Their Chang'e missions have reported strange electromagnetic anomalies, unexplained geological features, and mysterious data transmissions. If either SpaceX or China publicly confirms the existence of something unnatural on the moon, it could force the US government to finally disclose what they know. Ancient civilizations and the moon? Could there be a connection? Some of the oldest civilizations on Earth had an obsession with the moon. But why? Ancient texts, such as the Sumerian tablets, describe the moon as a place of the gods. The Zulus of Africa have legends stating that the moon was placed in the sky by powerful beings. And what's even stranger, certain ancient structures on Earth are perfectly aligned with specific lunar cycles. The Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned with the lunar orbit. Stonehenge was built to track the moon's eclipses. The Mayan calendar is based on lunar cycles. What if ancient civilizations had knowledge of the moon that we have long since lost? And what if some of that knowledge is still up there, waiting to be rediscovered? Scientific anomalies on the moon, a dead rock, or something more? NASA has always described the moon as a dead, lifeless rock, but recent discoveries challenge that view. One of the strangest anomalies is the moon's magnetic field. Unlike Earth, the moon should not have a magnetic field. And yet certain areas emit magnetic signatures that can't be explained. Scientists have also detected water ice deep within lunar craters, mysterious heat signatures on the moon's surface, odd seismic activity as if something inside the moon is moving. The strangest discovery came from NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. It detected something bizarre under the moon's surface, a dense metallic mass buried beneath the South Pole Aitken Basin. Could this be evidence of an ancient structure beneath the lunar surface? Or is the moon more than just a natural satellite? Buzz Aldrin's final warning. Buzz Aldrin's cryptic statements over the years now take on a whole new meaning. If Apollo 11 did, in fact, discover something on the moon, then it makes sense why NASA abruptly ended lunar missions. Astronauts were ordered to remain silent. Space agencies have been reluctant to return, but now, with new lunar missions on the horizon, we may finally uncover the truth. Buzz Aldrin's final warning may have been subtle, but it was clear. Let's just say, there are things out there, things that NASA doesn't talk about. The question is, what happens when someone does talk about it? Because whether NASA likes it or not, the truth is coming. And when it does, it might change everything we thought we knew about the moon, space, and our place in the universe. Buzz Aldrin's cryptic words were just the beginning. For decades, the moon has been regarded as a lifeless rock, a place where Apollo astronauts planted a flag, gathered rocks, and left behind footprints. But what if that wasn't the whole story? Buzz Aldrin and other astronauts have hinted at something NASA doesn't want us to know. And over the years, leaked conversations, classified files, and whistleblowers have slowly painted a very different picture of the moon. One that suggests it isn't what we've been told. Let's start with the most chilling discovery of all, the recorded conversations NASA tried to bury. Leaked astronaut conversations. They're watching us. During the Apollo 11 mission, official transcripts show a 2-minute radio blackout where NASA claims they lost signal with the crew. But years later, leaked transcripts and alleged recordings suggest something far more unsettling was said during that blackout. Buzz Aldrin. They're here. They're watching us. Neil Armstrong. These babies are huge, enormous. You won't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft here, lined up on the far side of the crater, watching us. NASA control. Repeat last transmission? Armstrong, we're not alone. While NASA has never officially confirmed these transcripts, several whistleblowers from within the space program claim this was one of many strange encounters astronauts had on the moon. And Armstrong wasn't the only one to suggest they weren't alone up there. Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell publicly stated, "We were warned off the moon. I can't go into detail, but it wasn't our space to take over." What exactly did he mean? And if this was true, why did NASA suddenly stop sending humans to the moon after Apollo 17? NASA's mysterious moon cover-ups, declassified files expose strange lunar anomalies. Over the years, NASA has quietly removed or altered photos from their lunar archives, but not before some researchers and former employees managed to leak them. One former NASA contractor, Donna Hare, claims she worked in a department where photos were routinely airbrushed to remove unexplained structures on the moon. According to Hare, NASA has been blurring out objects in Apollo mission photos, hiding structures that look artificial, altering brightness levels to obscure details. One of the most infamous leaked images is known as the Shard, a tower-like object standing miles high on the moon's surface. Another, called the Castle, appears to show a transparent structure hovering above the moon. And then there's the far side of the moon, the region we never see from Earth. This is where China's space agency recently landed rovers, and their findings have been highly classified ever since. Could there be something artificial on the far side of the moon? Something NASA never wanted us to find out? Is the moon hollow? Strange seismic activity suggests something inside. One of the biggest mysteries about the moon is what's underneath its surface. In 1969, Apollo astronauts deliberately crashed part of the lunar module onto the moon's surface. What happened next shocked NASA. The moon rang like a bell for over an hour. This wasn't a normal seismic reaction. Scientists expected the vibrations to stop quickly, but instead, they kept echoing for over 60 minutes, as if the moon was partially hollow. Further data collected by seismometers showed strange artificial-like seismic activity deep inside the moon. Some theories suggest the moon could be a naturally hollow body formed by unknown means, an ancient spacecraft or megastructure, a storage facility for unknown entities. And it's not just seismic activity that's strange. The moon's mass is uneven, with denser metallic objects buried deep within its core. Could this be evidence of an ancient machine beneath the moon's surface? Whistleblowers confirm the moon isn't what we think it is. Over the years, several high-ranking military officials and NASA employees have come forward with stories that seem almost impossible to believe. One of the most famous whistleblowers is Dr. John Brandenburg, a plasma physicist who worked with NASA. Brandenburg made a shocking claim. There is evidence of ancient nuclear explosions on the moon and Mars. He believes that some kind of advanced civilization once occupied both celestial bodies and may have been wiped out in a massive interplanetary war. Another whistleblower, Sergeant Carl Wolf, worked in the U.S. Air Force and had top-secret clearance. Wolf stated that he saw detailed photos of artificial structures on the moon taken by Apollo missions. They were clear as day, and NASA was actively covering them up. He later died under mysterious circumstances, sparking further speculation. If multiple insiders are risking their reputations, and in some cases their lives, to tell us that NASA is hiding something, what else are they not telling us? How the moon affects Earth more than just tides? We know that the moon's gravitational pull controls Earth's tides, but could it be influencing our planet in other ways? Some researchers suggest the moon's electromagnetic field interacts with Earth in ways we don't fully understand. There are reports that major earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are linked to lunar cycles. Human behavior and psychological states fluctuate based on the moon's position. The moon could act as a stabilizer, preventing wild climate swings. If the moon was ever damaged or removed, it could trigger catastrophic effects on Earth. Could that be why an advanced race, human or otherwise, placed it there in the first place? Buzz Aldrin's final words and the future of lunar exploration. Buzz Aldrin's warning was clear. There are things out there, things that NASA doesn't talk about. And now, for the first time in over 50 years, humanity is preparing to return to the moon. NASA's Artemis program aims to send astronauts back, but this time, they won't be alone. China has its own moon base plans. SpaceX is working on a permanent lunar presence. Private companies want to mine the moon's resources. If there is something waiting for us on the moon, we're about to find out. And when we do, it could rewrite everything we thought we knew about our past, our planet, and our place in the universe. One thing is for sure. The moon still holds many secrets. And as we prepare to return, we must ask ourselves, are we really ready for the truth?